At family dinner, my mom suddenly declared, "When we're gone, the house and all our savings will go to whichever grandchildren actually bother to show up. You guys are not going to believe this." My mom, looking past me like I was a ghost, declared, "The house and the savings go to the grandkids who show up." Then, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, she added, "That means Kara's boys." My 12-year-old daughter, June, nudged me. "Should we stop coming then?" I felt a quiet fury, but I just smiled at June and said, "Eat your green beans." I didn't argue. I didn't take the bait. What I did instead, months later in a lawyer's office with a screen showing one beneficiary, my invisible kid, well, let's just say that made my grandpa proud. My name's Malcolm. I'm 38. I fix engines for a living. Oil under the nails, coffee in the thermos, a busted radio playing classic rock. In my family, I'm the background one, the fixer. If something rattles, I'm the guy under the table. We were at Sunday dinner, the one I get guilt-tripped into if I ever grab an extra shift. Mom had her announcements voice on. Dad stared at his plate. My sister, Kara, and her husband had their 2 boys on iPads. Mom raised her glass. "When we're gone," she said, "the house and the savings go to the grandkids who show up." Translation: June and I don't count. We don't post enough photos. We don't perform family. Kara, all faux humility, said, "Oh Mom, don't make it about us. It's about who's present." Mom nodded, eyes landing on my work shirt. "Who shows up?" I almost laughed. 412 Saturdays under cars. 5 winters plowing their driveway before dawn. Showing up was my hobby. June nudged me. "Should we stop coming then?" I felt heat climb my neck. Not anger, just that old familiar weight. I wanted to list parts, years, dollars, miles. I wanted to remind Mom that June had spent last Christmas Eve on the living room floor building a Lego garage with Grandpa while Kara posted from a ski condo. I wanted to say, "Who shows up?" and slide a stack of receipts across the table. Instead, I smiled at June and took my hand off the grenade. "Eat your green beans," I said gently. That night, I pulled a cardboard file box from my closet. I wasn't going to fight. I was just going to look. See, I grew up in a 2-bedroom ranch. Kara got the room with the bigger window. I got the couch for a year while Dad finished the basement. I didn't mind being the fixer. Grandpa Ray taught me. He was a carpenter, hands like kiln-dried oak, a grin that made you think of Saturday morning cartoons. "Machines don't lie," he said. "If something's wrong, it tells you if you listen." Mom liked people who sparkled. Kara sparkled. Pageants, choir solos, report cards you post on Facebook. I brought home alternators and perfect bowling games. My wins didn't fit on the mantle, and that was fine until it wasn't. 3 quick scenes. When I was 19, Kara's Civic died on 295. I drove 30 miles with a tow strap, lay in slush, and got her home. Mom said, "Thank God for Triple," and handed Kara a blanket. AAA never came. I didn't correct her. When I was 26, Dad lost his job. Mortgage got scary. I took 2 extra shifts and loaned them $850 a month for a year. Mom called it a family blessing. On Christmas, Kara opened an espresso machine. I got socks with little wrenches on them. When June was born, I texted a photo to the family chat. Kara heart reacted and launched into planning my daughter's baby registry. Mom sent 16 messages and a voice memo when Kara announced a puppy. I kept showing up because I believed family is what you do, not what you post. Then the house. Dad's back went out. Payments slipped. I could have said, "Sell," but the house was Grandpa Ray's. He built the front steps himself, carved his initials on the underside of the banister. Mom liked to say, "This house stays in the family." I liked that sentence. "Help us refinance?" Mom asked 5 years ago. "We'll put you on the deed. You'll save the house. We'll make it right." Numbers, $329,874.12. That's what the mortgage was after the refi closed. I know because I wrote it on a legal pad. I signed as co-borrower so they'd qualify. Brenda, the loan officer, said, "You're a good son." Mom squeezed my arm. 460 months, I paid $5,612 every 4 weeks. $1,886 mortgage draft, $726 taxes/insurance. I have the Zelle screenshots. I have the transfers. I even have the times I ran cash down to the bank when the AC hiccuped and the teller wrote, "Thank you, M," on the receipt. 5 years. Winter tires I skipped. A vacation June and I didn't take. "It will stay in the family," Mom repeated like a prayer. 2 summers ago, I fixed a leak in the upstairs bath. When I opened the vanity kick, I found a thick envelope wedged behind a trap. Not money. Old mail. The top letter was from the county, change of deed notification. The names on the window? Robert Whitaker, Mom and Dad, and Kara Emerson. Not mine. I stood in the tiny bathroom with a flashlight and the slow drip of a stubborn P-trap and read line after line until the letters squirmed. Gift deed, no consideration, record of transfer. I set the envelope on the toilet lid and stared at the tiny black mold spot I'd meant to scrub a year ago. I didn't say a word. That night, I put June to bed and sat at our table with that cardboard file box and started what I later called, in my head, the receipts. Bank statements. Zelle exports. Screenshots of Mom's texts. Can you cover this month, kiddo? We're tight. Kara's got the boys' tuition due. Emails from the loan officer. As discussed, Malcolm's name to be added to deed post-close via quitclaim. A calendar reminder I set for myself the week after closing. Notary. Add to deed. Mom rescheduled that notary 3 times. Then we'll do it next month. Your sister needs to get off work for signatures. It never happened. I printed everything. I made tabs. I labeled a flash drive. I took photos of the underside of the banister and Grandpa's initials and printed those too. It felt important. Something else bothered me. I couldn't place it. The house wasn't just a house. It was technically part of the Ray Whitaker family trust, a document Grandpa's friend, Mr. Alvarez, the old lawyer with the stubborn tie knot, drafted in 2001 after Grandma died. I remembered because I'd been 12 and Grandpa had asked me to help him scan something fancy. In the file box, under a stack of old shop manuals, I found a photocopy Grandpa gave me for safekeeping. I read the trust at midnight with a highlighter. Legal language felt like instructions in a different language for an engine I recognized by sound. Then I found it, a subsection under Distribution of Primary Residence. Section 4.7, Maintenance and Preservation Contributor Clause. I circled it and didn't sleep. Subsection 4.7 said, in human words, that if any descendant by blood made material contributions for not less than 60 consecutive months to preserve the residence from foreclosure, that descendant had the power to appoint the remainder interest to his or her issue, or, failing that, to said descendant. It also said any later transfer or gift could not override the clause. I sat very still. I thought about Mom saying, the grandkids who show up. And I thought about June handing Grandpa Ray screws in order by length at the workbench when she was 5 because she liked the way he said, "That's my girl. She listens." Kara came by for photos on the porch at golden hour. June came by when the sump pump died. I didn't rush. I went quiet. The next months I added more to the file. A PDF of the refinance instructions Brenda emailed, post-close, add Malcolm to title via quitclaim. I highlighted the sentence. A screenshot of Mom's message. Can you Venmo the insurance shortage? $726. Timestamped. I annotated it with a pencil like a lunatic on a crime show. A photo of Kara at the housewarming she threw herself when the boys graduated from preschool. The caption in the family chat, home at Mom's, where the memories are. My daughter is in the background holding a shop rag. Face smudged with graphite from the garage. No likes. I wasn't planning revenge. I was building a diagram. If it had a belt, I would have traced it. Then came Mom's announcement about grandkids who show up. I heard Grandpa's voice in my head. Machines don't lie. Neither do documents. It wasn't Christmas or a birthday. It was a Saturday family cleanup day. Mom's idea with a sign-up sheet. Kara texted like she was planning a charity gala. Bring gloves, she added. I brought a box. In the driveway, Dad adjusted his back brace and nodded at me without meeting my eyes. Kara set up a snack table. Store cookies, sparkling water, the good napkins. The boys dragged branches for 5 minutes, then vanished. June and I cleaned the gutters. I let the ladder bite into my shoulder. Focus helps. Around noon when Mom declared, let's break for lunch and talk about next steps, I wiped my hands and said one thing. In the voice I use at the shop when I'm about to tell someone their timing chain isn't just noisy, it's 2 hours from catastrophic. Mom smiled like she was already bored. Make it quick. Kara has practice pickup. I set the cardboard box on the picnic table. Labeled tabs. Paper stacks. A USB in a small zip bag. What's this? Kara asked, laughing like I'd brought show and tell. Receipts. Malcolm. Mom hissed. If this is about Thanksgiving, it's about the house, I said evenly. Dad's eyes flicked up. I don't yell. I build short sentences. Torque specs for 5 years, I said. I paid $329,874.12 in mortgage and shortages. That's 60 months not missing one. Here are the transfers, drafts, and the times I covered the escrow itself. I slid a color-coded stack forward. Mom didn't take it. Kara glanced like paper gives her hives. I was told I'd be on the deed after the refi. Brenda's email says so. Your texts rescheduled the notary 3 times. Then I found this. I held up the county notice like a damaged gasket. Gift deed to Kara. That's not, Mom started. Legal, Kara said, arms folded, chin up. Parents can gift. It's our family. We agreed. I'd eventually, Dad said Kara's name in a warning voice I hadn't heard since I was a teenager. I didn't look at them. I opened the trust copy and slid out a clipped page. Section 4.7, I said. Maintenance and Preservation Contributor Clause. What? Kara blinked. I read, careful and calm, the way Grandpa taught me to read torque values twice. I pointed to the line with my finger, then slid a printed screenshot from the scanned PDF I'd pulled off my old email. Grandpa's scan I'd helped with at 12. There was a pen hash in his handwriting in the margin. It felt like a hand on my shoulder. Any later transfer, I read, is void against this clause. Mom's smile collapsed like a bad souffle. Oh please, she said, that's ancient. Your grandfather put that in to feel important. Dad rubbed his jaw. The lawyer is still alive, I said. Mr. Alvarez. I called and asked if the trust was amended. It wasn't. He remembered Grandpa Ray using the phrase, the one who keeps the lights on. He also remembered this. I tapped another page. The appointee is allowed to appoint the remainder to his or her issue. What does that mean? Kara's voice sharpened. It means, I said, heart steady, I choose who gets the house after Mom and Dad's life estate ends. And because you executed a gift deed ignoring the clause, I retain that appointment. I filed an appointment with Mr. Alvarez this week. Who? Mom demanded. You. I looked at June. She looked at me like I just handed her a headlamp and said, You ready? No, I said to Mom. June? The air went quiet in the yard. You've lost it. Kara said brittle. You can't put a child on. Trust law allows a designation to a minor's UTMA trust with a custodian, I said. Clause 4.7 doesn't restrict appointment age. Mom looked at Dad. Robert. Dad kept staring at the paper. Malcolm. Mom said carefully, the way you talk to a customer you're trying to upsell. Be reasonable. The house belongs with the grandkids who show up. I asked. I didn't raise my voice. I turned to June, who unclogged the sump with me at 2 a.m. last March. She raised a hand, then dropped it, confused, then half smiled. Who helped Grandpa Ray sort screws by size at that workbench the year before he died? I asked, my voice softening. June whispered, me. This isn't about revenge, I said, turning back to Mom and Kara. This is about closure. Kara scoffed. You think you're some hero for keeping a roof on a house you also live in sometimes? Grow up. We have kids. They need stability. June's fingers found the hem of my jacket and held it. I've retained counsel, I said. There will be a letter. The gift deed is void against the clause. The remainder is appointed. Life goes on until it doesn't. That's it. I closed the box. I didn't slam it. I picked it up, nodded to Dad, and walked June to the truck. By the time we hit the first light, my phone started buzzing. Mom, Kara, unknown numbers. Group chat pings. 27 missed calls by the time we pulled into our driveway. I let the engine idle. The rattle in the passenger door hummed. The flood started before we took our boots off. Selfish. Mom wrote. You're ruining the family. You don't even understand what this does to the boys. Kara texted, then followed with 8 voice notes alternating between crying and pronouncing legal terms. One said, think of the kids, twice. Dad texted, call me. Uncle Paul, but think about your mother's health. Aunt Wendy, your sister has enough on her plate. She can't move again. A number I didn't recognize sent, you'll be sorry in court. We'll bury you. Then 5 minutes later, sorry, wrong text. Meant to send to Kara. Then a thumbs up. By the first night, 42 missed calls, 19 voicemails, 31 texts across 3 threads. By morning, 68, 26, plus 1 new group added me. I'm not dramatic. I didn't respond. I called the only number I wanted to call, Mr. Alvarez's office. He confirmed receipt of my signed appointment and the custodian designation for June's UTMA trust. All parties invited. Remote option available. I stared at the screen and thought of Mom's sentence about grandkids who show up. I thought of how showing up looks different when you stop trying to be seen. The conference room was plain. Long table, TV, speakerphone. Mr. Alvarez had his stubborn tie and cardigan. Mom and Dad on one side. Kara and her husband on video. Perfect lighting. June sat beside me. Braid neat. Hands in her hoodie. Alvarez clicked the remote. Trust on screen. Section 4.7. He said, Maintenance and Preservation Contributor Clause. Mom tried to cut in. He went on. Come. The contributor, Mr. Malcolm Whitaker, can appoint the remainder to his issue. He executed that last week. Click. My appointment to June's UTMA. Click. County Index. Life estate only to current possessors. Remainder UTMA FBO June Whitaker. Kara's screen froze, then returned angry. You're giving a child a house. No, I said. Grandpa did. Mom's pen clicked like a warning. Why her? Because she showed up, I said. Silence. The speakerphone hummed. Terms are clear, Alvarez said. Life estate stays. No removal, no rent, no sale without custodian consent. Major repairs by agreement. Your father anticipated this. He liked machines. Dad whispered, Ray, almost laughing. Kara pivoted. Fine. June can gift to her cousins later. Under the table, June squeezed my hand. I let the quiet stand. The old family system had stalled. Alvarez turned to her. Your great-grandfather wanted to reward the one who keeps the lights on. Understand? June nodded. Yes, sir. Malcolm. Mom said, half plea, half warning. I faced them all. I'm not fighting. I'm done being loved only if I don't keep track. The clause exists. The payments exist. We showed up. We still will. On our terms. Mom's mouth shook. Holidays? Birthdays? We may come, I said. Or stay home and make stew. You don't grade our love by attendance. Poetic, Kara muttered. Plain, I said. Like engines. We stood. Alvarez handed me a manila envelope. Copy of the appointment. Stamped receipt. Heavier than it looked. At the door, Dad reached for my sleeve, stopped. Ray would have liked this, he said. Not the fighting. The plan. Me too, I said. Outside, winter sun on June's face. So, am I a landlord? Not today, I laughed. Today you're a kid whose great-grandpa trusted the right person. We drove off. The passenger door kept its familiar rattle. A month later, 0 group chats. 2 nights a week we cook something new. 5-mile loops at dusk for no reason. 1 call from Mom asking if I could fix the porch light. I said, send a work order to the shop, and she did. The file box stays in the closet. I don't count missed calls. I keep boundaries. Here's what I know. You don't have to be the family wallet or bleed time to earn dessert. You can keep the lights on and still turn off your phone at 9 and sleep. When people ask about revenge, I say, this isn't about revenge. This is about closure. There's a brass key on my ring to Grandpa's workbench. I almost texted a photo, then didn't. A ping from Kara. The boys miss June. Can we schedule something? I set the phone down. Drive? I asked June. She grinned. We took the long road by the river. The door rattled its old song. At home, a voicemail waited. I made tea. I fixed nothing. Tomorrow we might sand the birdhouse. Maybe change the shop radio. Maybe finally tighten that door. Not because someone asked. Because I want to. So I listened to the machine. I found the clause. I didn't yell, I built. What would you have done when your family tried to erase you and your kid? Tell me your story in the comments below.